Hey there, crime enthusiasts. I've got a story that'll send chills down your spine. Imagine this, a peaceful little town where everyone knows each other, where crime is practically unheard of. Now picture this: one day, out of nowhere, a beloved pillar of the community just vanishes. Poof. Gone without a trace. No warning, no goodbyes, nothing. It's the kind of disappearance that leaves a whole town reeling, wondering what dark secrets might be lurking beneath the quiet streets. Buckle up, folks. This is one mystery you won't want to miss. Alright, let's get into it. This was no ordinary day in Millbrook. It's the kind of place where everyone knows each other, you know. Neighbors look out for one another, kids play freely in the streets, and the biggest news is usually about the local high school football team. Alright, let's dive into this case. Picture Oakville, a small town where life moves at a slower pace. It's the kind of place where everyone knows your name, and neighbors still bring each other homemade pies. The local diner is always buzzing with friendly chatter, and kids play freely in the streets without a worry in the world. That's why when Sarah Thompson, the beloved owner of the town's only bookstore, vanished without a trace, it hit Oakville like a thunderbolt. Sarah wasn't just a business owner, she was the heart of the community. She organized the annual book fair, ran a popular reading club, and always had a kind word for everyone who walked through her door. The day she didn't show up to open the store, people knew something was wrong. Sarah was never late, not in the 20 years she'd owned that shop. As word spread, you could feel the worry building. Search parties formed within hours, and suddenly, this peaceful little town was thrust into a nightmare none of them could have imagined. Just as people were starting to lose hope, something totally unexpected happens. A note shows up. And it's weird. It's cryptic, with vague hints about secrets only our missing friend would know. Suddenly, everyone's looking at each other differently, wondering who could be behind this. The note mentions specific details about the victim's life, things that weren't public knowledge. It's like the writer is taunting the community, showing off how close they were to the victim. This raises so many questions. Is the victim still alive? Are they being held somewhere? Or is this just a sick game? The police are baffled. They've never seen anything like this before in our quiet little town. As word spreads about the note, you can feel the tension in the air. Neighbors who used to chat freely are now more guarded. Everyone's wondering, could it be you? It's put everyone on edge, really. The sense of safety we all took for granted. Gone, just like that. Now, here's where things take a truly shocking turn. After days of searching and speculation, the police finally catch a break. They manage to get their hands on some surveillance footage from the night of the disappearance. And what they see, well, it's absolutely mind-blowing. The footage shows a shadowy figure sneaking into the victim's home late at night. At first, everyone's thinking it must be some unknown criminal, right? But as the investigators zoom in and enhance the image, their jaws hit the floor. The person in that footage isn't a stranger at all. It's someone the whole town knows. Someone who's been right there in the middle of it all, helping with the search efforts, comforting the family, the works. I'm talking about one of the victim's closest friends. Yeah, you heard that right. The same person who's been organizing search parties, talking to the media, and acting all broken up about the disappearance. Turns out they're the one behind it all. Can you imagine the gut punch that must have been for everyone involved? This person, who everyone trusted, who seemed so concerned and helpful, was hiding this massive secret the whole time. It just goes to show, you never really know what's going on beneath the surface, even with people you think you know inside and out. This revelation, it didn't just blow the case wide open. It shattered the sense of trust in the entire community. Suddenly, everyone's looking at their neighbors, their friends, wondering what other secrets might be lurking behind those familiar faces. This case really shook the foundation of trust in the community. It's not just about one person disappearing anymore, it's about the ripple effect it had on everyone. People started questioning their neighbors, their friends, even their own family members. The idea that someone so close could be involved, it's chilling. Think about it. In a tight-knit town like this, everyone relies on each other. But now, that safety net feels torn. People are locking the doors, watching their backs, second-guessing every interaction. It's like a dark cloud has settled over the whole place. And it's not just about physical safety. It's about emotional security too. How do you move forward when someone you trusted turns out to be, well, not who you thought they were? It challenges everything you believe about human nature. This case really makes you wonder, how well do we really know the people around us? Can we ever truly trust anyone completely? Or is there always going to be that little seed of doubt? What do you think? How would you react if this happened in your community? It's a tough question, but one we all need to consider. And that wraps up today's chilling case. It's a stark reminder that even in the safest communities, danger can lurk where we least expect it. Now, I want to hear from you. Could this crime have been prevented? What would you have done differently? Share your thoughts in the comments below or join the conversation on our social media channels. If you're as fascinated by real crime stories as I am, make sure you hit that subscribe button. You'll get daily doses of true crime, each one as gripping as the last. Until next time, stay safe and stay vigilant. This is Sean Dupree, signing off.
Hey listeners, welcome back to The Real Crime Diary. I'm your host, Sean Dupree. If you tuned in last time, we had a deep dive into the disturbing history of power abuse across different eras, looking at the connection between dominance, control, and how it plays out even today. We touched on scandals from the past and compared them with some modern-day examples, showing how these patterns of abuse, unfortunately, persist. One of the most insightful tools we've explored to understand this is my book, Power, Pleasure, and Pain, a study of abuse through time. It's not just a historical account, but an interdisciplinary approach to understanding why this keeps happening. We draw from history, philosophy, and modern case studies to explain how figures like Dominique Pellico, Harvey Weinstein, and others have exploited their positions of power for their own gain, often protected by the very systems meant to stop them. Recap of last interaction. In our last live stream, we discussed how libertinism, philosophically introduced by figures like Marquis de Sade, has shaped the way power and pleasure have been entangled throughout history. This concept ties directly into how figures like Weinstein operated, as we saw parallels between de Sade's fictional characters and the way powerful men manipulated their victims in real life. You guys had some amazing comments, asking how societal structures have allowed these behaviors to go unchecked for so long. It's a crucial question, and one that the book addresses deeply. Why this book is valuable. Now, what's powerful about Power, Pleasure, and Pain is its ability to break down these historical patterns and link them to the present. You're not just reading about ancient Rome or Enlightenment philosophy, you're seeing how these ideologies are alive today. The book uncovers how sexual violence and control have been systematically woven into the fabric of societies from ancient times right up to the modern era. It's about understanding not just the individual predators, but the systems that protect them, whether it's in royal courts, religious institutions, or today's corporate and entertainment worlds. Through these historical lenses, we also explore movements like #MeToo that are beginning to dismantle these structures. The fight for justice is far from over, but as the book demonstrates, we are in the midst of a cultural shift where legal reforms are finally addressing these long-standing issues. It's more than a history lesson. It's a guide to understanding and supporting change today. What's next? If you want to dive deeper, I suggest picking up Power, Pleasure, and Pain, a study of abuse through time. It's available now, and trust me, it will change the way you think about power, pleasure, and control. We've even got some exclusive content coming up on the channel where we'll be exploring the book's case studies in even more detail, so stay tuned for that. And if you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to The Real Crime Diary so you don't miss any updates. Let's keep this conversation going, because understanding the past is key to changing the future.